What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to episode 10. We're double digits. 10 of SupForce Live. Happy to see you all here. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Tonight is, like I said, double digits, number 10. It's crazy that we've gone through 10 podcasts now, and that this is the state of SupForce podcast. Oh my God. Prophetic, thank you so much. Prophetic, that's what it is. Remember, prophetic. Thank you for the 5 gifted 1 month subs. Everybody, make sure you go ahead and claim it. You are a beast, prophetic. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. And this is the State of Support podcast. We are going to be talking all things podcast. We're going to go from the past to the present to the future. And it's going to be wonderful. We're going to get you guys' questions answered. Whatever you want to know about SupForce and had on your mind that, maybe you just didn't think about it until now, or you've had a question and you just didn't really have the forum to where, or the right place where you wanted to ask it. This is the place. This is for you guys. This is to explain things and for you guys all to, just sit there and get your questions answered and feel like you're a part of this. So we appreciate all of you, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. All right. My guest this evening, you know him as one of the founders. You know him as the coding genius. He is the main man that is behind our bots and everything that helps make SupForce go behind the scenes. I am talking about the one, the only, Panic!
Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
Mr. Panic, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Diehard?
Doing great. Hi, Wolf's Realm. How you doing? Hello, Baby Maker. All right. So, Mr. Panic, we brought you out here. We brought down your cam from up high. We went from up here to down here to get that beautiful mug on this camera. We love it. We love it. Thank you so much for adjusting your setup for this. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
So, we want to get to know you a little bit better too, Panic. Basically want to know what makes you tick, and how you came about to be the Panic Code, the coder that you are today. Everything that led you up to this point with SupForce and coding these bots and doing everything else. So why don't you, just for those, because we do have new members in here like Baby Maker and Desert Rat and stuff, give them a brief overview of Panic the man, where you came from, how you got to where you are today. Just give a brief overview of Panic himself.
Sure. So I got quite a long history when it comes to computers. I've always been very interested in computers, graphic design, pretty much anything a computer can do, I've always been interested in. So that's where I started at 8 years old, asking my dad over and over again for my first computer. My first computer was an MS-DOS system. From there, my first game I ever played was SWAT 2. Not a lot of people have ever heard of that game, but that's when I actually started to look into the files. I always had a tendency to pull things apart, so went into the game files, started pulling them apart, and this is where I started to discover cheating of all things. How to break the code, manipulate config files, etc., to kind of get an advantage in the game or manipulate it in a different way. And that kind of really started everything I've ever done with a computer is get my hands on a piece of software or a game or anything that really drives my interest. And I want to recreate it, I want to build it, or I want to rip it apart to find out how it works. So from there, I got really deep into a lot of computer programming, and decided to start my own company, Panic Corp, back when I was 15 years old. Panic Corp is a hosting company that hosts from databases to websites to everything that entails that a server can operate on. And with that came a whole lot of more learning. So I've learned in total approximately around 64 coding languages in my 30 years of life. I just turned 30 in November. And While trying to do my company, obviously, competing against big companies like Amazon, it's hard to, get a footing in the world like that. So with no form of education, I didn't really fit best into the education system. I struggled in the last years of high school. I could have graduated, but being the kind of antisocial child I was at the time, I didn't graduate high school, which kind of I tell everybody out there right now watching, graduate high school no matter how hard or stupid or whatever you think it might be, because that's how the world works and you got to do it. So from there, I got into retail and got a great opportunity to work for a company for 14 years in a row. With them, I got into very intense leadership positions. I was the most senior manager in my city. I was assistant to my district manager. There was a lot of really great things going on when the company got taken over by another and eventually shut down. So that's where it's kind of left me when I started SupForce. I started looking for a community to get into streaming. I wanted to really make streaming, graphic design, and coding pay my bills, and start doing what I love to do for work, because I didn't have work at the time and I was struggling. So
Right.
Got together with my other co-founders, and we met on several different servers where we were all trying to find a place that we could build a community, grow within, and help grow. And just in conversation with Rabbles and Sins and Smelters and Marina and Sam, we ended up developing an idea to create this community. And that's what I've been putting most of my time into,
Right.
more than around 60 to 80 hours a week. It's put some strain on the relationship. I tried to work a full-time job during the start and development of SupForce. And currently right now I'm a full-time streamer and putting everything that I can into SupForce and trying to make this community great for everybody. So,
Well, we definitely appreciate it for sure. And anybody out there who streams and everything knows the struggles of the balance between streaming life gaming and, real life and outside responsibilities. So we definitely really, really appreciate everything, all your blood, sweat, and tears you poured into Support Force. And it's well documented and well known how much you do for this community with the admin team alone. And that's part of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, is so that the people who don't know a lot of what goes on behind the scenes actually can get a view behind the curtain, if you will, and see the man behind the curtain and how things come to be and where we're headed, where we've come from, and how we plan on making 2020 our bitch, as far as I'm concerned. So I want to ask you first, what was your inspiration for Support Force? Like, when you sat down and thought about it, I know you wanted to do your coding and everything else and build a community, but what actually sparked it? What sparked the idea of Support Force for you in your own mind?
If anybody knows me, I like to get things for free. I don't like to pay for things. I've never had the money to put a whole bunch into my computer, put a whole bunch of money into supporting streamers. So what I've always done when I support somebody that I enjoy online is I just do everything that I possibly can that's for free.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of melded in. I've ran about 40 other different communities while hosting different gaming communities. I've seen them grow to levels of over 1,000. I've seen them sit at 10 members,
Right.
just a small gaming community. And I've run several of those communities as well. And the biggest thing that I always see becomes a struggle in those communities is financial. Everybody starts worrying about financial this, financial that. And I really wanted to go with a motto that Rabble said to me several different times. I really loved the guy's streams when I met him in a different community. And he, at the end of every stream, he'd say, "Support the support." And I was like, it's exactly it. You know what I mean? Like, you do what you most possibly can to support somebody. And if you have the money and you're paying for that person to be supported, that's amazing. If you don't have the money and you're just trying to shoot that person out so they become popular, that's amazing to me as well. So I sat there for almost 3 months while I was going through these online communities and trying to think of a way I could make this work. Because generally, you know, without money flowing through and be able to give rewards for different things, it's hard to keep a community alive. So I wanted to create more of a family, you know, get away from the community word and more of a family connection where there's friends, there's family, there's people that enjoy each other's company in this community rather than people that are just here for support.
Right.
That's the first and foremost thing. Most of the staff know this. I've said this on our founder podcast as well, but we have a couple of steps we're trying to hit. And first and foremost is community. Second is support. Third is growth. And fourth is success. So without the groundwork of each one of those being put into place, that's where I started with this community. It's got to be genuine.
Right.
And doing my research, I'll be honest, like I've always been honest, you know, 70% of people out there aren't going to fit into our community. And that's fine. You know, at the end of the day, people are going to find communities. We might be a stepping stone for them. We might be a permanent home.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's what we're about. Right. So, yeah, that's where I started.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's funny that you say that too about, you know, 70% of the people won't fit. And I think part of that is because the large majority of the people that are out there that want to stream and want to be a streamer want to be that, you know, that next Shroud. I said Shroud. Jesus. Brose, I hope you hear that because I just said Shroud instead of Shroud. So, but people want to be, you know, the next Shroud. They want to be the next Ninja and they want it now. And they don't understand that this takes so much time to build up and you have the ups and the downs. And it's really what separates the haves from the have-nots, I believe in this, is that, man, you can have that great high and everything. But when it gets down to here, it's how you pick yourself back up and get back up there.
Exactly. Definitely.
And I think that's where we as a community help. You know, where if somebody's having a bad day or somebody's having a bad stream and just, you know, we can be there for them and help them along the way, you know, to pick them back up and dust them off and say, come on, let's get back up that hill and start just pushing them back up. And that's what I've seen in this community. And that's why, you know, I love this community so much because, you know, when you brought me in as a D-Live manager and everything and brought me in, when Smelters, you know, said, hey, you guys need to look at this guy and, you know, brought me over to you guys, is that I've been in those, into those communities with you. And it's one of the things that I've been preaching a lot lately is these damn silos. And it's almost like a high school clique, you know, where people sit there and they're just status quo there. The thing that people need to know is that you cannot sit there like that. If you want any chance to grow, you have to reach out everywhere and network everywhere. And it's not about Team Purple, Team Yellow, as we say in our Discord because of Twitch and D-Live, or Team Blue for Mixer, or Team Other Blue for Facebook, you know, and things like that. It's just a matter of you got to be out there and explore everything. And exactly. I always give the example about Rebel is that you never know what you might like because he hated Twitch. And when I came in and brought him into D-Live, he saw it and everything, looked at what was going on with D-Live, sat around my streams and everything, saw the people, saw the community of D-Live and loved it and said, you know what, I'm going to do that. So you can't just lock yourself away in Twitch world or Mixer world or Facebook world and just stay there and be like, okay, you know what? I'm good with that. Because it's not going to help you grow. You don't know what you're going to have until you get out there and talk to everybody. So that's one of the things I loved about SupForce, that it didn't do, or that it does what the others haven't. And it's perfect, like that. And it's the sky's the limit for us. It really, really is as a community. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for everything that you've put in there, as well as all the other founders and all the admin staff and all the people in the community, the family members that we have. But for you especially, I know the ups and downs that you've had through all this and that, and seeing this come to fruition, and how successful it's being, that you need to step back for a second and take a bow and appreciate the fact of what you've helped to create, and you've been a large part of that. So for me and I think I can speak for everyone else, that I want to say to you, thank you for everything that you've done and everything you will continue to do to make this a successful community.
Oh, thanks, Diehard. Appreciate that.
There's nothing to appreciate, nothing to be thankful for, because you're the one who does it, man. We thank you. Yeah. Trust me.
Well, like at the end of the day, it really wasn't about me to begin with. I'm ecstatic at our community. There's more things that have happened here than I have ever seen before in an online community. And that really, to play off your statement about cross-platform, like I knew I'm not good at advertising, but I'm great at analyzing. It's one of the things I'm great at. So when I look at these online streamers, those are the people I study. I study Shroud, I study Ninja, I study, many, many different streamers. I see people go through, 500 peak viewers down to 5 peak viewers and then back up to 5,000 and go all over the place. And the one thing that I always see is the engagement. You have to give back to your community as much as your community gives to you. If you don't do that, if you're not fair to them as they're fair to you, then what's the point in supporting you? What's the point in watching your streams? What's the point in hanging out with you? You're not my friend.
Right. It's what I've said all the time when I talk to people about SupForce. You're going to get out of this community what you're going to put in. If you're just coming in and expecting this to be a follow for follow, that's not how this works. Or lurk for lurk. That's not how this works. You have to be engaging. The only way to grow and the only way to take advantage of this is to network and to communicate with everybody and get to know people from all parts of the streaming world. And,
definitely. And
just to tell people out there too, is because I know this has been said quite a bit too, is about the loss of XP in our chat, in our server, and that. And when people have messaged me about it, and I explained it to them like this: is what's to stop somebody, if we don't have that in there, for them to get to level 10 to be able to go live now and pump their chat out there, and that's where they stop. They don't do anything more. They don't do anything less. All they do is go in there, throw their link on, and then you don't hear from them at all. There's no way in the world that you will ever grow if that's what you do. If you're just throwing your link out there for people to just try to go to your stream, but you don't talk to anybody. Me, as a person who goes around, and we've talked about this plenty of times, Panic, is about how I support people and sub to channels and everything else like that. I am not going to sub to somebody or take the time out of my day to somebody who's just going to throw a link out there and I don't hear from them. I don't even know who they are.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yes, you have to get on. Yes, you have to get on the stream and get to know somebody. But I want to get to know somebody in the chat and everything. If they're a part of my community, I want to know them. I don't want to just go out there. If they don't have the time to spend to drop a hello, how you doing? How's your day going? Hey, good to see you. Anything. Then why are you going to get the support? That's where the networking comes in, and that's what I think SupForce is better than anybody else. We just talked about it before we started the pod. That you're amazed at how many messages are gone through this server.
Just for everybody watching out there, that is the number one thing that our staff team constantly is always happy for with our community. If you go to any other community, there's not as many messages sent. We have statistics deeper than any of you guys can realize with the amount of XP that gets delivered to the amount of messages that get sent per channel. And quite honestly, our busiest channel is Gen Chat. It's crazy. Gen Chat of a server that has over 25 channels is the busiest channel, and it's getting over 40 messages per day. It's insane. Like, there is no other server that matches ours for how active we are. Right. And if our server just continues to grow, we're looking at 60 messages per day. We're looking at 120. We're looking at ridiculous amounts of messages. And at the end of the day, like, our community we have those people that aren't going to fit and they're not going to like the experience loss. And then we have a good majority of us that are like, no, I totally get it. Makes perfect sense. I got to stay active. I got to be engaged in my community if I want them to come and see my stream. And me personally, I don't do what some members do where I click through the members list and I just follow as I go through the members list to get experience. I actually don't do that. I wait for a member to be selected as a featured creator. I wait for a member to be promoted by one of our staff members. I wait for watching somebody dropping these bombs of support over on Mixer of 50K sparks on one of our streamers. I'm waiting to see those things happen, and those are the people I'm going to give the support to. Those are the people that I'm going to take my limited amount of time that I have during a day to support.
Right.
Because you guys don't see me very often in streams. I'll be right up honest with that. I'm not a viewer. I don't have the amount of time to view unless I'm working on graphics, which most of the time nowadays I'm not doing any graphics. I'm doing all code to keep this server with the new features that we have or changes that anybody comes up with or suggestions. Mm-hmm. So when we're doing graphics, you guys some of you remember me from beforehand. When I'm doing graphics, I'll sit there with you guys at streams for hours on end because it takes me hours on end to do a graphic. But at this time, I do a lot of my following and everything, and I really focus my support on the people that show up in our server quite often. And I really push our staff to really try to bring more and more people in here to see how great each and every member of our community is. And it's thankful to me that I do have each and one of the staff members that I do. Every time that a staff member joins us or leaves us, it either betters the server exponentially, takes a lot of stress off of my shoulders, or it adds more on. Right. Because we don't select staff members easily. Generally, our entire staff team is a part of selecting those staff members, and they become a part of this tight-knit team that we have, that we really listen and connect with the community, and then we bring that together so that we can ultimately give us the best that we possibly can on the server. So when one of those people drop off and they or they have some life struggles and they're unable to do their job, it really does hurt the server, because at the end of the day, they're all important. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't have come up with many of these features that are in the server without each member of the staff team. And that doesn't mean just founders. Founders started the groundwork for SupForce, but the staff team that we brought in here brought in so many ideas. And just to throw a little bit of thanks back out there, the community needs to thank Diehard definitely for his Live Now suggestion. You guys seen the Live Now change that just came up? Diehard, great suggestion. That's what I rely on my staff team for is, I don't have the time to really think of those things, and boom, somebody comes up with a great idea and I can make it happen. So we wouldn't be anywhere without our staff team. So
yeah, it usually starts out with, okay, Panic, I don't know how much work this is going to be involved for you, but can the bot do this? And then he sits there and is quiet for a minute. And then it's like, somebody will go, uh-oh, I think you might have pissed him off. And then he chimes up, no, I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to be able to get it done. And then next thing you know, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll probably put it in with the next update. And then next thing you know, the next day, it's changed. So, thank you for doing those changes and doing them so quickly too. And I know it's for the betterment of the community, but it also takes time out of your day. So thank you again for that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we kind of talked about, the past and how we've come to be where we are now. Let's talk about right now and what we have going on. You talked about the changes with the Live Now. I think one of the big things that we've always talked about is, cross-platform support. And one of those things I'd like to bring up more so than anything is everybody knows about Mixer, Facebook, D Live Now, and, all these different platforms to get to stream on. But one of the things that I think makes us even more different than everybody else is a room that nobody sees, but it's the powder room, and about all the makeup artists that we have that deserve support as well out there on Instagram. And one of them obviously was our featured creator through the end of this week, which is Cater Tot, and you got Marina, Madley, Kaylay, Riley, blanking on the others that are in there, but that's something that you never see in any streaming community. And that's the big thing is like it's a multi-platform support community. And I shouldn't use the word streaming when I talk about it because it's not just streaming. Yes, there's some that actually do the streaming, but it's Instagram posts, it's social media that way. And I think that aspect of Support Force and having them and how much we actually have the wide range of support that we can get is unheard of. And people really need to take note of that and go out there and support these people too, because I know that they come out and they support some streams too. They support your Instagram posts for, people, and they deserve the support too as well.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm a statistic guy, so we're about a 70-30. We had about 70% of our server streamers. 30% are content creators, whether that be makeup artist, model. We have a few models recently join us. YouTube.
Rebel.
We have some YouTube creators. I think we even have a music artist. Doesn't post much content, but we do have one music artist. But at the end of the day, that's something we want to grow into, which we'll talk in a little bit. But yeah, I see Instagram people getting most of the cross platform boosts. So if anybody out there doesn't know, if you support somebody that's not on your platform, so say you are a Twitch creator and you support somebody on DLive by make an account, give them a follow, you're going to get an extra 25%. That's one thing that we really want to drive to you guys, is being able to get more and more for doing that extra effort to go out and sign up for those new accounts. And in many cases, it really doesn't take much effort. It's like a click to sign in via another platform. So It's very simple. And we see those guys get a lot of our D-livers and a lot of our other platforms get most of that cross-platform boost because they're doing most of that cross-platform, and we're not seeing it backwards, to be brutally honest. That's one thing we always want to create here is that's what I was seeing a lot of times when I started conceiving of SupForce is streamers don't have a lot of time to consume stream content. We stream, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day. Sometimes people stream even longer than that on average. Plus they work 40-hour-a-week jobs. So they don't have time to sit there and watch a full-length 4-hour stream. Right. They might have time to pop in 5-10 minutes. But what I seen was makeup artists. A lot of makeup artists, especially my girlfriend, Makeup by Marina, she would sit there and do a makeup look for 5 to 6 hours. That's the length of a stream. But she's not doing anything. She's watching YouTube videos on how to do makeup. Mm-hmm. Well, why not watch a streamer? So Instagram people have the time to consume stream content, whereas streamers have time to consume Instagram content. Very, very easy way to cross a platform. Allows you to give support where they're giving you support back. You can follow on Instagram. You can like their content, which gets them promoted within their platform. They can come and give you a view, give you a lurk, give you a follow, maybe drop you a sub. That gets you promoted on your platform. That's the idea behind it. And I really don't want this community to ever forget about any platform. When you see somebody come in there and you see somebody give you some support in that boost channel, always try to return a little bit if you have the time.
Absolutely. For real. I mean, anybody, I don't care how big or small of a streamer or content creator they are, that you should just throw support their way, because even a follow, even a hey, how's it going, goes a long way. I know as a streamer that it gets pretty lonely when you don't have, if you have 10 people then there that are just lurking and nobody's chatting. Even if you get one person to say, hey, how's it going? It means a lot. It does a lot to just even say, hey, how's it going? Or anything like that. For our makeup artists, that when they throw something up on Instagram, it means so much to say, wow, that's awesome. You are really talented. Or even, I like that. Something as simple as that goes a long way for that person and helps drive them to create more content and give more. So everything, any little thing that you can do to help somebody out, like I said, whether it's a follow, whether it's just a comment, whether it's like Spectre and just dropping bombs of bits, Lino, anything out, it just goes a long way, no matter how big or how small it is. I know for my streams here in DLive, the currency is lemons, and I always say every lemon counts. So even if it's one lemon, it really means a lot that somebody takes the time to even do that.
Exactly. Definitely.
Let's talk about one of the things that just popped up recently that was kind of, and I know Brose loves this, is, we kind of, people have talked about it and wanted it, but now we have a TikTok role. So after much debate and people wanting it, what's your vision of TikTok now being another content creating platform that we are going to support, as far as like, how do you see this growing for us?
So always with any kind of platform that comes out, whether it be brand new, a little bit older, if we have a member base that can utilize that platform, we'll support it. I've always said that. I will always do my best to provide that for you guys. My personal opinion on TikTok, though, is not a very good one. So looking from kind of like my deep research into the platform, TikTok has one big problem. TikTok has no copyright control, which is a huge thing. So I've been a YouTube creator for some time. I've struggled with the adpocalypse, if some of you remember it, back in the YouTube day. I lost a partnership with YouTube due to that, because I didn't have the subscriber base for it. So I see a huge problem with copyright issues coming from TikTok in the coming years, because there's a lot of content, not a small amount, a lot of content that just straight up plays artists' music over top of it. In some cases, it's parody, which is fine. But a lot of cases, it's straight up copyright infringement. There's a lot of YouTube creators out there that have done some DMCA videos in regards to TikTok. And it's very difficult to push DMCA onto TikTok as a company, because they're hosted out of Belgium, I believe. So it's very difficult to push DMCA law on them, which means there's going to be a whole bunch of legal struggle. So if it comes down to it, it's going to nail the creators, not the company. So that's my views on TikTok. But the thing I love about TikTok, since Brose got me to get this going, checked out his TikTok the other day. You don't need an account to just scroll through and just see what it's about. So if you guys are interested and ever looked at TikTok, take a look. You don't have to log in or nothing. You can actually scroll a couple of TikToks, and it's like a rebirth of Vines, which is awesome. I miss Vine. Vines were amazing to have pop up on YouTube, or just look at the Vine app and just, 15 minutes while you're having a smoke break or something, just take a look and you're like, oh wow, this is funny. That's crazy parody. It's hilarious. And that's what I think is great about TikTok. So I think TikTok's still a little new. They need to figure out where their groundwork is. I think they're going to have a lot of issues with copyright in the next coming years. But I don't think TikTok will fail. I think if anything, they'll do it very correctly, and they'll rebuild the Vine network, which will be awesome. So.
Yeah, I still go on YouTube and watch like those 15-minute videos of just like one Vine after another, and you just laugh, and just it's fun. It's funny. It really is.
It is, yeah.
So we heard the cries from the public and everything. We gave them a month through December to have no loss of XP because of the holidays and everything else, and then we made some changes to the loss of XP for people, and how it's, how fast it is or how much it is at certain points. And that's one of the things that I think people need to understand is, I can relate with DLive, is that, DLive listens to their content creators and makes adjustments accordingly. Sometimes it takes more of an uproar than others, but they do make changes. And that's one thing that we do at SupForce, is that we hear the public's cry and we can pivot any which way we need to in order to accommodate them if we feel that it's necessary. And, to be fair, I understand that, with some people being busy and they can't always be in the chat, can't always be doing things. And we saw that and talked about it as a group and made the change. I'd just like you to just talk about that kind of a process where how we actually listen to the community and make adjustments like that.
Yeah, so definitely. So you guys definitely have a whack of very dedicated staff team members. And you may not see them all the time, but they always see you guys all the time. So when there's complaints about the experience system, the loss, the amount that you get, or just in general, how does this work? Our staff team sees it all. And generally, we have a meeting every week, which is unheard of for most servers like ours. Your staff team dedicates anywhere from 2 to 4 hours every Sunday. Every Sunday. It's not every 2 weeks. Every Sunday, we dedicate time to discuss these things. We look at the suggestions channel. We actually have these conversations in a channel you guys can't see, which is our staff channel, where people we'll have somebody get a complaint and we'll start discussing it within our staff channel. And when it becomes to a point where there's several people that are complaining at once, it's very easily noticed that this is starting to become a problem because so many people are talking about it. So the staff team is talking about it.
Right.
So we take the time to review stats. So I'm very big on numbers. Not a lot of our staff team is big on numbers, but it's very important to have them because we can actually see exactly what you guys are earning and what you're losing. And we can compare that to the amount of time that you've been gone and what type of people we have in the server, how active our server can be. And we can adjust that by, manipulate one small value by 10%, 5%, right? We'll let that run for a week and then we'll pull those stats back up. And then as a staff team, we'll be like, nah, that's still too much, right? People are still going to complain or, whoa, that's not enough. And then we can adjust things for our community, which is amazing. And that's one thing no other bots provide. There's not a single one out there that can be as flexible as that needs to be for us. I simply need to edit one file. I can change any kind of value for what you guys earn or what you're losing. So over the course of December, it was decided a couple months prior to December that we were going to run some chatting events where you were going to earn double the chatting experience for being more active in chat. There was a collab event that was put up for that as well. But just in the month of November, we had several complaints about people because we were getting into the holiday season. People couldn't quite be as active. So it came into question the loss. And we made a change of about a 10% adjustment. So you're losing 10% less than you were previously to that month. And it seems to have kind of settled the server out. Nobody seems to have issues with leveling up too fast or leveling down too quickly. Because that's one thing is we don't want to make this too pay to winny. Unfortunately, it's how it works. But
we're not EA.
We don't want to give too much for very little support, but then we also want to reward as much as we possibly can. So that's where our staff team is very flexible, and that's why our team is so good, is because we can have those conversations where 4 of us disagree with the majority of us, and we can all have the conversation where the entirety of us actually agree on what we're doing and changing for each one of you guys. And the great thing is having managers for each individual piece of our community, right? We have Diehard being a DLive manager, so he can listen to the DLive people. We have Jam being the Twitch manager and being able to listen to them. Recently, QP getting his Mixer channel, he'll be able to integrate the Mixer stuff. We have Marina and her powder room to hear from that side of the community. And we just want to keep growing. Whatever you guys want, and we can really pack in here and get the community as much as it possibly needs and get more and more of us in here, it'd be fantastic. So
now let me ask you a question real quick. Do you have any of the numbers from last week readily available, like from that previous call? I just want people to understand, how big this is, that what we're doing here. Like as far as like how many messages did we have total like last week?
Give me 2 seconds.
And no, Roger, we never kick you out. We don't kick anybody out unless you do something bad over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Everybody has a home at SupForce, so long as you just follow the rules.
Where am I at? Okay. Stats. That's what we're asking. Cool. Let me just delete this so substats works. All right. So you're asking me how many messages we had last week?
Yeah, like how many messages on the server total last week? Just in 1 week.
So just in 1 week, we had 7,915 messages, which was actually an 18% increase over the previous week.
So that just shows you guys like how much activity is on that server. That's across the board too. That's not just Gen Chat. So
yeah, that's across the board. Yeah,
that's how amazing of a community we are. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot of messages. And as I was saying before, we were talking before the pod started, is that you don't see that at other communities.
And it's week after week is the same thing. Even now, we're on track to beat that by about another 20% this week if our community just keeps on rolling. And we've gotten 20 more members, right? And that's why we continue to go, is our members keep joining and they just keep, jumping into Gen Chat like the rest of us have been doing. It's just awesome. So.
I mean, it just seems like we're growing at an exponential rate right now, and it's huge, the amount of support that's coming out and everything that's happening right now with SupForce. I think we lost one and hit 420 again.
Yeah,
we're sitting at 420 again, which Blaze won for the nation. But we're trying to get to that magic number of 500. I know for you, that's been a goal of yours to hit that 500 mark. And we wanted to hit it before the first of the year. But maybe you're talking about the fiscal year, Fiscal year's not over with yet. So
not quite. No.
So we can still hit that 500 mark. But what I know that I want to talk a little bit about this too, because we're starting talking about the present, but I want to start talking a little bit about the future. That what are your goals is to get us partnered with Discord?
Yes,
that's one of the big goals that we have. Talk a little bit about what that entails, and you'll have some people come in, and yes, we all we know that you code your own bots and everything else for us and that, and you'll have people come in and say, well, what about me 6? What about this? Explain to people why we don't use anything like that besides the customability of it, and what we're trying to achieve with how to get to being a Discord partner.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So becoming a Discord partner is something that only a total of 800 servers have achieved ever. And currently right now there is only 80 right now. So to achieve partnership for Discord, you must have over 800 members. You must have an activity of 50%, which means 400 of those members must be active daily. And then on top of that, you have to follow all of Discord's terms of service. Your bots, any bot that is used on that server must be verified by Discord coders. So people that work for Discord need to review your code. So the reason for that is safety of the users. So to provide me the ability to manipulate your guys' user account information, they need to make sure that it's safe, so that I'm not stealing it, essentially. So all of that is actually currently under review for our bots, which are called Closed Bot Project. The reason we chose to code our own bots beyond the flexibility of them is because of the partnership reliabilities that come along with them. So using another developer's bot means that they own that code, which means at any point in time that the server starts to generate money because of that bot, we must pay royalties to the person that owns that. In the case of Discord, ME6 is owned by Discord. A lot of people don't know that. The Zyroth bot as well is owned by Discord. There's about 3 others that are very popularly used. I won't name them all because I don't want to get in trouble. But ME6, if they are our active level and experience bot on the server and we're partnership can bring in a lot of money for this community, Discord would essentially take half. That's how ME6's contract works. So that's why we avoid using other code. I have proprietary licensing over our code as well, which essentially means that the concept of our boosting channel, just to keep it simple for everybody, the concept of how our server earns levels and the boosting concept for multi-platform is licensed. Anybody that would be to copy that would need to pay royalties to me, or obviously we could shut that down. So that allows our community to be unique in every way, shape, or form, and for us to not allow our idea of support the support to be manipulated or changed. So that would be, I guess, the main reasons for why we're doing it this way.
Now, what is the benefit to the community once we get partnered? Not if, once we get partnered.
Yeah. So the benefit to the community is obviously the biggest part of being partnered with Discord is an advertisement banner. So this is a non-obtrusive advertisement that you guys would see pop up. Any channel that you would be in when you're in SupForce would show a tiny, I think it's 150 by 300 banner advertisement at the top. So this would then start earning cash. So the contract gets worked out at partnership time, but essentially the payout from those advertisements would come to the owners of the server, which would be the founders, which we would put entirely back into this community. There's a couple of different ways that we would utilize that. Rewards for our community, merchandise to help grow, to reward, potentially server equipment if we ever grow beyond what my server is capable of handling for all of this, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we have perks for different ranks where we pay for advertisement for your channel and your content. So if you're not a streamer, we can pay to advertise you on Instagram. And this also turns into promotional deals that we might end up getting. You guys have seen a few of them start popping up. So Zaster is a big partnership. If you guys have not signed up under the referral, really get on board with Zaster. It's a new and upcoming advertisement. Again, non-intrusive, any way we can possibly find that way to give financial support for free.
Right.
So Zaster is one of those deals that we got super excited about because it was a partnership where we were getting higher payouts, where we'd be able to actually integrate within our community to give back to our community. So other partnerships may come up for different types of merchandise or game codes or whatever you guys might need. So when we're partnered, we get noticed. And that's the biggest benefit to our community, is being noticed in SupForce and being able to push you and push your content through advertisers and other forms is going to be a benefit to not only SupForce as a community, but each individual member that shows the highest levels of support within us or earns those rewards.
Nice. Now, you mentioned something about that, to get new servers, if your servers can't handle it, like what's the breaking point for your servers? Like, is it a member count or is it just the activity that goes on?
So it would be activity based. Members doesn't really adjust much, but essentially the breaking point is technically a theoretical thing. Mm-hmm. So each time that you guys send a message, there's anywhere from 4 to 6 requests sent, just to keep it simple. So that means there's 6 things that the CPU on the processor on the computer has to do. So that uses up cycles. So technically the theoretical limit is 1,000 active messages within a minute. So that would be 1,000 actions, 1,000 changes to the database. Because that would equal about 60,000 actions in a minute, which would be the theoretical max. Technically, I don't know what my CPU hardware would crap out at. They're all different. It may not even get that high. But yeah.
Well, I'm going to get a little bit geeky here. So have you thought about like something being hosted have your servers being hosted in the cloud or anything like that, or do you prefer it to be on-prem?
So most of the time I prefer it to be on premises, but I have worked with AWS, Amazon services before. Technically something like them, at a server level at about $150 per month would be we would be able to have 80,000 plus messages happening per minute on a server from them. I trust their services. They're one of the best that you can get on the internet. They are expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. If you don't understand computers, but you're looking to get into hosting, I don't suggest you use low-end ones if you're going to be hosting any important information, especially a lot of streamers out there are starting to do merchandise stores. And if you're not using a reputable website, I don't recommend it if you're not a techie person, because they're not very safe. So AWS would be my go-to, but I prefer on premises. So realistically, with this current holiday season, I got some gifts, and I was able to kind of upgrade my main PC rig, which also entailed me being able to build out a new computer from parts from my older rig. So if in the event of time that the server can't handle it, I do have a backup option, which is more powerful. It's I got 4 more cores on it. It's got a lot more memory. It's a much more capable system. But beyond that, technically, it would really depend on the money at the time. If it's something that we had to go month by month, it would be AWS, but if we had the money sitting from a big deal or something, it would be a full hardware kind of build up to an AWS system, which is around $1,000. So.
Right. So let's talk about the 2 tournaments that were just announced too, that we had, about the COD tournament and the Rocket League tournaments. If you want to shed some light on those.
Cool. So a lot of people were asking for Rocket League tournament. This is another example of Diehard with the staff and people bringing things to our attention. QP, one of our supers, very big into Rocket League. So he's been active with a lot of the different members, hearing a lot from them, and we wanted to throw some tournaments. So we wanted to actually do a tournament at the start of January, but we had some issues with some staff. So we're getting started with 2 tournaments for you guys. These are just fun in-home tournaments. So don't think at all that these are some crazy competitions or anything like that. They do earn you some experience and a title in the server for the entirety until we start the next tournament. But it's entirely just to get some engagement from the community. So with Rocket League, we're going to be doing basic tournaments. So 3v3 knockout. So it's going to be best of 3 matches. You need to sign up with... two of the 4 members of your Rocket League team must be SupForce members. The other 2 cannot be SupForce members, and 1 is a backup. So it'll be a 3v3. With Call of Duty, there's been quite an ask for a Call of Duty tournament since we did our last solo one. So this time we're going to be doing just a standard 2v2 tournament knockout style. You can have a 3rd backup person, but 2 of the 3 people must be from SupForce. And we've extended the registration dates, so you guys have all the way until the end of January to register your teams up. And then we'll be starting the competition in February 8th. Will be kind of the first one. We'll be running knockouts, however many teams we got. That's about all I got. QP is your leader for the Rocket League tournament, so reach out to him for your signups. Myself and TaketheKrown are your reach outs for Call of Duty. We'll be reaching that one. And these tournaments won't be hosted in any way, shape, or form. You will just be playing the games when you guys can schedule them with your competitors, just to make it a little bit more easygoing, because we do got a lot of community members that are streaming or working in conflicting times. So you'll be given a day where you guys will have to figure out a time to compete and then send your results off to your tournament admins. And we'll have prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. And just as a first announcement, we have not put it on the server yet, but the winners of these 2 competitions will get a sticker pack, which is for all the staff members, SupForce Fists. You guys will receive a sticker pack from us.
Awesome. Good things coming on the horizon for everybody here at SupForce. So, we talked about that we're going to make this a bi-annual thing with the state of SupForce. What do you see where do you want us? Okay, 6 months from now, you and I are going to sit here and do this pod again. Okay, where would you like to see us in those 6 months? What are your hopes? Realistic, mind you, not sitting there going, "Oh my God, I want us to be at 1,000, members and blah blah blah." Let's be realistic about it. Yes, we would love to have that, and if that happens, great. But let's be realistic here. In 6 months, what do you hope to see from Support Force, and where we will be at?
Yeah. So, obviously, what I would really like to see at that point, what I actually predict us being at is, and this is not going extreme, is 750 members. So the reason I say that is we haven't completed a year yet. Technically, at SupForce, we started in April of 2018. Of 2019. So we're still not quite at a year, and we're at 420 members. So I see that very easily being 500 very soon. And I see us growing about half of that in the next 6 months period of time. So realistically, I see our members growing to that point because it only keeps going. Every week I look at 10 to 20 new members. And if you do the math on that, it's very easily around 750 members. So, but second to that, I want to see some promotional stuff going on within our server. I do want to see some deals come out with a couple, 2 or 3 more companies that I have been in talks with. I won't say any names yet, just don't get anybody hopes up. But something in relation to free game keys, something into relation to Amazon gift cards. And also something in relation to basically get paid to play a game for somebody. So those will be coming out over the next 6 months. I really do want that stuff to really kick into gear. We started off with a couple of deals that we were talking about in early 2019. So 2020, as I've told the staff, is a big year for us. I really want some partnerships with advertising companies in the next while so that we can really start pushing our member base and also just our server in general. And then lastly, I want the bots to be out of beta. So currently we're at 0.57. I have an update which will be coming out tomorrow, which will be 0.58. That'll be a pretty significant update coming out tomorrow. Excited for that one. But I just keep going quicker and quicker with these updates that are necessary for the bots. We only have a few more things that are going on. There's no bugs or errors right now, so I'm very excited for that. And excited to see version 1.0 to about 1.05 in about 6 months, which is just phenomenal because then I can actually take a step back from the code, and there's only little tweaks that need to happen from that point on. So yeah, that's where I see us in about 6 months.
That's pretty awesome. And just to give everybody, just to put it in perspective, for us to get to 800, it doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't. If everybody out there, because I know we have 420 members, and we'll probably say, I think is it probably about 70% active?
Yep.
So 70% of the people are active out of that 420. If everybody can go out and recruit 3 people, that's it. If you're sitting there, all you have to do is get 3 people within that 6 months. We'll be well over the 800 mark. So it's really not that hard. And just think about it, that if and I guess we're going into a pyramid scheme, but if you get 3 people and those 3 people get 3 people, just imagine how quickly we can grow. And what it comes from too is for you to believe in the community itself. I know I believe. And when I first came in, I recruited the hell out of people and got people into here from DLive because we needed to build that user base up. But just think about it, you guys. It's so easy to recruit people into this because it's like it's a place for most people. I know that Paddock said 70% of the people don't fit it. They don't know until they're here, and I'm a firm believer in people don't know what they need until they get it. Honestly, and I think Rabble, being a former now car salesman, can say that is that. People don't know what they want or what they need until you tell them or they have it. Okay? Exactly. So you don't know that you need Support Force until you're in Support Force. And what I tell people too is like, you know what? Come in, read up on us, join the server, see if it's if it's right for you. If it's not, cool, no problems. We get it. It's not for everybody, but at least you try it. And if you show the passion and the love you have for this community, then people will come. People will say, all right, well, I guess I got to check this out and see how it is. Trust me, it's easy. I got asked, in our D Live chat about some tips for recruiting people. And that's the number one thing, is to get to know somebody. Go into somebody's stream, get to know them. Focus on the people that are just starting out, because those are the people that really need our help. You can't go to a partner on Twitch already, or go to a global partner on D Live, or I don't know what the equivalent is other than just regular partner on Mixer, but somebody big time streaming over there on Mixer, and expect them to go, yeah, I'll come in. No, that's not what it's about. It's about hitting those people that are just starting out. They're getting their first stream. You go to those people that have, that are, mind you, producing good quality content, not somebody who's just sitting there like this.
Sleeping.
Right. Although there's that one guy on Twitch that was sleeping that ended up getting like thousands of followers and people were just watching him. But we are here to help those people. That's our niche, is those people that are just starting out, or those people that don't have a lot of viewers and everything. That's our niche. That's who we can help as a community. Our 420 people can help these people so much that they don't even know they need it until they're here. And that's what you have to convey to people. Convey to people that love SupForce. Convey to them that this is something that they need, that will help them, that they will not be sorry about joining either.
Well, I see it every single day. You can go into almost any single channel when you wake up in the morning, and somebody's helping somebody else with a question about streaming, a question about content, a question about OBS, a question about, the animal channel these past 3 days. Like, that's just absolutely insane that we create a channel, and I guarantee you when we look at stats this weekend, it's going to be second highest channel, if not first.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy that you guys can come together and talk about animals, of all things. That shows you how much of a family and community you guys have created so far within this. Is you can talk about animals. You can talk about a picture every single day. All of us can have a laugh about Crown breaking his coffee pot the other morning. Like, that's what I really love about SupForce, is when I wake up in the morning and I see I think I had like 56 notifications this morning. That's insane. I go to sleep for 6-8 hours and I wake up to 56 notifications. Yeah. That's crazy to me. So
yeah, it is honestly amazing to just really see the outpouring of, you talk about support the support. It's not just streaming or content. It's like you just said, inside the channel, supporting somebody on wanting to know how to work their OBS or how to tweak something right for them. It's things like that that's helping you to support the support. You're supporting somebody who's trying to support somebody else on a stream, or taking photos for something. Everybody has something to offer in SupForce. No matter how small or how big, no matter, like I said, if it's a lemon or if it's just a word of advice to somebody, everybody has value here at SupForce.
Definitely.
Make sure that you go down, and while we're talking about it, go down in my description. You can see the banner that says SupForce.
Support the support.
Thank you so much for that prophetic. Click the banner, go to supportforce.ca, supportforce.co, supportforce.info. Click the banner, get to know us, join the server, see if it's for you. Like we said, if you come in there and you decide, not for me, you know what? Cool, you gave it a shot. Hey, it's like my uncle and my dad and my mom always told me, you don't know if you don't like it unless you try it. And that's for all food. That's how I like green beans, because I always swore off green beans, and then I tasted them, and then I liked them. So you don't know what you like unless you try it.
Definitely, 100%.
Well, Panic, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up for the future of SupForce, or any words of wisdom you want to impart on people?
Yeah, like obviously we've had a few changes coming up. You guys can start seeing some change logs that I'll be posting for everybody in a public area, so you guys can always see what's happening with the bots and what we're changing. And we're always open to suggestions about new features, new platforms to support, new communities, new areas that you guys want to reach out. Just really utilize those channels, the SupForce suggestions channel, or reach out to our ambassadors. Our ambassadors are wonderful community integrators. They love to talk to you guys. They see the biggest benefit from this community. And I'm excited to see that our staff team just continues to grow. One thing I do want to put out there is we are actively still looking for more applications for the staff team. We're looking for
mods. At
the rate that we're growing, we don't want to over stress anybody. That's not what we do as a staff team. We have a time off rule for a reason. We want to give people the opportunity to have as most or as little as not as work as they can in this community to support as much as they can. So we're actively looking for new mods, new ambassadors. We'll have new applications going up in the next few days that you guys can actually fill out and email off. And yeah, that's about all I have for changes right now. Things change every week, so I know you guys get a lot of pings on Mondays and Tuesdays. We're going to continue to do that because we have a lot of discussions on Sundays. We get a lot of things, the ball is rolling on Mondays and Tuesdays, so it's where you guys will mainly see the changes. But as always, if you guys have any questions, reach out to the mods, reach out to the supers, or reach out to me directly.
Nice. So we kind of didn't put it out there, but if anybody has any questions, whether it be about SupForce, whether it be for Panic, about him, or whether it be for myself, please put them in the chat right now. I know that there was one out there, and I know that we've kind of, my chat doesn't go back that far, but somebody had asked, and I think it was, there it is. Yeah, Prophetic did it. What coding languages are you proficient in or passionate about?
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting question. I've never had anybody ask me what I'm passionate about for coding. So PHP is probably the one I'm most passionate about. It's the one I learned the most on. It's actually where I started right after HTML, was to go into PHP. And once I got stuck there, I actually started to branch into my other coding languages like C Number, C++, JavaScript, Node JavaScript. Man, there's so many. Dev.io, French, SQL. Man, what else can I list here? So, React JavaScript is another one. Python, I massive in Python. Anything to do with the Linux environment, batch, all of that kind of stuff. So there's really not much I don't know. Proficient wise would be PHP, HTML, JavaScript, C Number, C++, and a Visual Script.
Nice. Does anybody else have any other questions out there? We got 29 of you out there in chat land, or maybe more, depending on if it hasn't updated yet. Make sure you put those questions in. React. Yep, right on. Thanks, Prophetic says. Oh, and Prophetic, I just want to let you know too that we're going to take a look at this real quick. I'm going to just switch my overlay to my overlay real quick. I just want to see. Yes, Prophetic, you are the ninja boss now, just so you know, on my stream. You pretty much killed it, and with all those donations, I really, really appreciate it. So just so you see it, you are the ninja boss now. Okay, yep. Oh, Kayleigh, how did you name your bots?
So the bots are actually named after my dogs. There really was no reason for it. I just had to name the bot, and my one dog, Kafara, was sitting next to me. So I named Kafara, and then from there, obviously, I just had to name it after my other dogs. Unfortunately, Augustus is no longer with us. I just have Asher and Kafara. Augustus is back with his original owner now. Why not top-down cam? I wanted to give you guys a nice view of my face.
I made him, Spectre. I said no top down. We want top in on his face. Rebel said, how did you decide on your logo?
So my logo is modeled after a white-tailed buck, which is a deer or a stag, whichever you want to call it. Top-down cross shot. So I have a real affinity for hunting. I haven't been in several years since my father passed away. It was one of the things that really, me and my dad never had a relationship the way that you would think of a father and a son. We struggled really to get along with one another for most of my life. But the one thing that we always got along with was hunting. And my favorite animal of all is a husky, well, a wolf. And then second to that would be a white-tailed deer. So that's kind of where I settled on. One day I was just messing around with 3D modeling, and I decided to try to do a wireframe stag. And from there, I have always used that as my logo.
Nice. It's it's a deep dive there into the world of Panic. I didn't even know about that about you, that you're love to hunt. You just haven't in a little while.
Yeah. No, it's a big thing that I love doing with my dad. We would, I've had many good memories about it, and it's probably what got me to play my first person shooter. Was just, I've always been around rifles and stuff since I was 7. So
Right. Now, I know QP plays it. Big Raj out there, he plays it as well. Have you ever... you can get it for PC. Have you ever thought about playing The Hunter Call of the Wild?
It's installed on the PC right now. I played it back when it was early release.
Okay.
Got it on Steam. Yeah. Pretty decent game. It's probably the best when it comes to realism. All the different hunting games. But I do have one that's my all-time favorite. What was it called? The Great Outback Hunting Adventures. It was old PC game. It was when my dad first asked me how to play a computer game. So I installed it for him, taught him how to play it, and it was one of those games where you could play multiplayer on one keyboard. Just one person used the numpad and the other person,
so nice.
So that'd be my all-time favorite hunting game. But Hunter Call of the Wild is pretty awesome, especially with some of the things the modders are doing with it right now.
Oh, Banda Duck Hunt.
Yeah. I actually still have normal Nintendo with the Duck Hunt gun,
right,
over in the hallway over there.
It's funny because you talk about your dad in that PC game. One of my fondest memories is playing a game called Bases Loaded for Nintendo, and my dad and I would sit there and just play baseball all the time. And I could still remember to this day that he would play as Hawaii and bring in this pitcher that was named DeSoto, and he could pitch it down and in, and no matter what I did, I could never hit that ball. And so he'd let me get some hits and get some runs and everything. And then sure enough, he'd bring DeSoto in, and I couldn't hit a damn thing after that, and he'd end up winning. But that was one of my favorite, then I got older and figured it out, and then he couldn't do it to me anymore. But that's one of those memories that I have too as well. One thing you said before too, and I kind of want to one-up you on it, is that, I don't do coding really or anything, but one of my earliest go-arounds with a computer was my aunt and uncle had an IBM PC Junior, and I coded games in BASIC.
Nice.
Doing line 100, then go to line 300, and then back, and I did the whole code and everything, and like made a dart game in there because they followed the basic book and was like looking on how to code and everything and developed that stuff. So that was God, like I was like 12 years old, I think it was. That's how long ago it was. So that's 31 years ago. almost your age ago.
If I could get my hands on one of those, I would have fun, because really the basic emulation engine fails to compare, because the tick rate of CPUs nowadays are out of sync with old basic computers. So it would be that's why people still collect those types of computers like Commodore 64s and stuff like that, is because like the IBM Juniors and then the IBM Business Plus, those two are really collected systems, because it's almost like a computer that was given to you without an operating system, and they're like, here's how to make one.
Right.
So anybody who's like loves to tinker with code in any way just like thinks about that, and I'm like, yeah, I could spend 14 hours just sitting there learning.
Right. Absolutely. Rabble says spacebar in Doom on my dad's lap. That's awesome.
Nice.
And up yours, prophetic, dinosaurs roamed the earth at that time. That's why I'm the dad of the group. All right. I think I ask this every pod, but question: one food for the rest of your life. What is it, Panic?
Marina asked me this. Was it yesterday? So one food for the rest of my life would be cookie dough ice cream.
That's interesting.
Particularly soft serve ice cream with cookie dough. So like Dairy Queen cookie dough.
Okay, so you want vanilla ice cream with cookie dough bits in it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's pretty good.
Right.
That's really good.
Ice cream is my number one food.
Right.
I eat so much ice cream.
Mine would have to be either a good steak and mashed potatoes and corn, like that, or Chinese food. Those would be my two. Probably a distant third, or a third would be pasta. So.
Yeah, pasta. We eat a lot of pasta. I love pasta.
Excuse me, you love to eat what?
Pasta.
You mean pasta?
Pasta.
Yeah, there you go. Not pasta.
Pasta? Pasta, whatever you want to call it. Italian.
Yeah, he's going to go get that pasta. Rabble, oh, Canada. I will say this, Panic, is that I don't know how much of a hockey fan you are being in Canada, but one of the things that I read that being in Detroit in Michigan is that, the Red Wings used to be pretty big because they suck now, but the whole arena, the singer was doing the Canadian national anthem at our arena, and the mic went out, and the whole arena kept singing the Canadian national anthem. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm not a huge fan of hockey. The only thing I ever really so I cared about hockey because my dad cared about hockey. Mm-hmm. He was originally from Toronto, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
So that's my team. Even though I'm from Calgary, Calgary Flames are a joke. But Toronto Maple Leafs is my team. I don't watch too much hockey, but if I do watch hockey, it's generally for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right.
And yeah, I used to watch a game every Wednesday or Thursday with my dad when I got home from school.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Man, I would be a terrible Canadian. I do not know the Canadian anthem. Well, honestly, if you're not an active watcher of hockey in the States, you probably would not know the Canadian national anthem. If you are a avid hockey fan, you would know the Canadian national anthem in the States. So that's one thing I could say. That's like saying I don't really know the French national anthem, because I don't know it.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't sing it in French. So. Not on this side of Canada. I don't get taught that stuff.
All right. We got a couple more minutes here. Do we have any more questions for Panic or myself out there? Don't want hockey, but I definitely know the Canadian anthem.
Yeah, good job, Rose.
Banda, I like cars. All right, well, I think this is a good time to end it. Panic, do you have any parting words for the group? Oh, hold on. Rebel's question, as always. One animal, what would you be and why?
You already know the answer to this question.
Would it be a white-tail buck?
No.
Oh.
It would be a wolf.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you be a dire wolf?
Well, if you had to get quite specific, it would be Siberian wolf.
Okay.
The colors and the coats that are on Siberian wolves are more of like what I'm after, where like more white primary with black and gray striking. Asher is a husky. He's a husky crossbreed. I've always looked at the wolf as being a powerful and very team-oriented animal. They're one of the most strongest pack-style animals.
Mm-hmm.
Alone, they fail, but together in 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't matter. As long as they work as a team, they always succeed. So yeah, I guess that would be my parting words to everybody as well, is work together. Always trust that everybody in the community here is to support the support, and always do your best to do what you can for us and for yourselves. And if you ever need any help, that's what we're here for. So always reach out. We're a team and we'll get through it all together.
Absolutely. Nobody could say it better, man. Thank you so much, Panic, for taking the time out and talking with everybody, answering some questions, and giving people a look behind the curtain of Support Force and what it is to be on the technical side of things that are going on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out to the podcast today. Appreciate all the questions.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming out and hanging with us. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the donations, the follows. Prophetic, thank you, especially to you for the 10 gifted subs and all the donations that you put through, man. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You know, you exemplify what it means to support the support, and we love you all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. And as everybody wants to hear it, just remember, everybody, that happiness is the state of mind, peace, love, and financial security to all. If you're going to have sex, wear a condom. Help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. And remember, as always, stay blessed. Have a great night, everybody. Awesome job, buddy.
Yeah, that was good. It's a good one.
Always good, man.
Easier than I thought it was. I was all anxious to start.
No, you did awesome, man. You really, really did.
Cool.
You weren't nervous at all, were you?
Oh, definitely. My hands are sweating.
No, well, it didn't come through at all, man. You were wonderful. You really were, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Saying in Marina beforehand, I'm like, I'm used to like playing a game or doing something. What do I do with my hands?
Just like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm like sitting here. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
No, I think it's a good point though that if everybody brings in 2 people or 3 people, we can hit those goals easily. There's no reason why we can't.
Well, exactly, man. Like it's not too far off. That's why I'm like 6 months easily we can hit that number. No EG.
Oh, for sure.